So our cameraman thinks he's a comedian. We have a camera-median.
We absolutely do.
So this is Dina Sellers. Dina is going to talk with us today about the Marion Landmarks. And say hi, Dina.
Hi. So I've been to Marion before. We were taking a road trip and headed to Chicago and decided to stop and see a mural that that my dear friend here had painted. And so it's exciting to get to talk about it in more depth because I've been lucky enough to get to go.
He surprised me with pictures. Look where we are. And the funny thing about that picture is I don't know if Adam was standing on top of the tower or if Adam is just that much taller than you. But something in that photo made you seem so much shorter than Adam. It was, anyway, really stood out.
We've learned to up our selfie game. It was not so good back then.
Probably not a bad thing. Yeah. As I was getting ready to brag about the microphones that I have to be, but it's flopping around.
Right.
Click example, but you get that picture.
Oh, that's always fun.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Marion Landmarks, and so just so that everybody else knows, I don't feed them any lines or any script. I say them because Adam's behind the camera, and we're going to do a video with Adam next. But I just hand them the book, let them look through it, and they're going to pick out some images. They both have picked out images, and I kind of know which ones they are, but we're going to pretend like I don't. And they're just going to bring them up and ask questions. So here we go. So what's your, I know you were looking at volume 2, weren't you?
I was
Okay.
looking at volume 2, and I have a question about that, but later, because it
Okay.
goes with an image. My question goes with an image that's going to be in 3.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay.
So, but my first question is actually about the square. And so my question is, obviously a town square changes a lot over the years. You lived there for a very long time. I'm curious as to what iteration of the square this is and why you chose this iteration of the square over any of the others.
Okay, so this image is, I will put a digital image up there. This image is titled I had to think, northeast corner of the square. Obviously makes sense, it's northeast corner. And it's going to appear in volume 3, which is yet to come out. So, so to answer your question, with any of these images, in any of these books, they're generally an amalgamation of all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
Because it's stuff that's sentimental to me, there's probably going to be something
Meaningful that stands out to you.
Thank you. So that's probably going to be the case in most any of the images. In the case of this one, I did try to keep it kind of in that, it was I think late 60s period. However, there was a different store here, and when I first started sharing pictures of this image, nobody could remember that store. And the odd thing was, in the comments section, all the people that were saying, I don't remember that store. And this was in the early stage, like pencil sketch. It was Limerick something. Limerick Loans, I think, was the name of the store. But all the people who commented that said, I don't remember that, they all said, I remember the Economy store. So this is a case in which I literally changed that in the last
The crowdsource changed the image for
it
you.
did. And I don't normally bend to crowd, to crowd demands, but
Give the fans what they want.
yeah. And the other thing, this building today, I lived in this building for not quite 2 years, but almost. When I moved back to Marion for a short time to help my family. So I lived in this these are 2 different apartments on either side. So I lived in this one first, and then I moved into this one. This one, as you can imagine, had side windows, but there was only about 3 feet between you and the brick wall. This
Beautiful.
side had windows all the way down, overlooking the Bank of Marion building and anyway, so this was a much nicer apartment.
Ah, yes.
So one of my goals, I should say, is to create, I've really focused around the square. I've done most buildings, not all of them, but so I just have, this is part of that overall plan, is to capture all views of the town square. And the cool thing is I'm not sticking in one period of time.
Okay.
I tend to stick in the 60s just because I think the cars are cool.
Yeah.
And that's when the square was the liveliest. So that's kind of where I come from with that.
And clearly a lot of these, your choice of one location versus another speaks to your memories of the place and the time, right? You're more drawn to draw the places that you know. So I'm curious, do you put any Easter eggs in them?
All the time.
You do?
I do. I'm glad you asked that. I as many people watching this know that I've done this with a few interviews with a few different, and we have talked about this with a couple in a couple different pieces. So I don't, when I say Easter eggs, they're not anything that I am secret about. Generally speaking, my grandfather, they had one child, my mom, so his branch of the family name kind of stopped with him. So I had always said I would change my name to Cross at some point, but I've invested 53 years in this name, so. But to honor him, I usually work the name Cross into every image. And sometimes it's in your face. There's none here right now, but and then other times it's hidden within
A wall, scape
Yeah.
somewhere.
on the side of a car.
That's interesting.
There is enough influence of my family in all of these images that I don't, like, it's already there without me putting even any more. But sometimes I like to just put it in there, just sometimes because I needed something to add, you know.
Something to finish a piece.
You got it.
And sometimes it's fun having a secret about it.
You got it. You got it.
Okay.